In the production stage of creating Breaking the Mold, I have learnt and built on a number of skills using different equipment, software and online sites. Overall, the Nikon D3200 DSLR camera has been my most used piece of equipment. I use this to film the entirety of my documentary as it allowed high quality footage. When filming the documentary, I paired the DSLR with a tripod and Rode video mic. This combination maintained consistent footage that didn't shake or become unfocused. My documentary was also filmed in sections. By the final session, I was more knowledgeable with the DSLR and how environmental factors like movement and weather may affect the footage. For example, in a number of shots of my Girl Guides, the camera shakes slightly as people walk too closely to it. Consequently, those clips had to be eliminated from the documentary's opening. However, in the first aid bay shots, I ensured that I kept an appropriate distance when moving around the camera so that the footage wouldn't be shook. Also, I made the prior decision that any footage shot at the car extrication would also be used without audio. This was because there was a large mass of people there, and as well as continuous commentary by a fireman. This would have negatively affected the sound quality and made an overlapping narration inaudible.
That person is still out in the car.
My knowledge of the focusing element on the DSLR camera was improved during filming because I was able to put the main speaker at the forefront of the shot and have moving scenes behind. The composition of shots linked with this and is something I understood played a crucial role in looking like a competent documentary that gave the right message. The DSLR also allowed me to take images for my advert and listings double page spread. Alongside the lighting, I was able to capture my figures in a crisp image that I then used to Photoshop to edit. Whilst photographing them, it was my main aim that there would be no shadows or anomalies that would lessen the quality of the images. I needed to maintain continuity throughout to portray a professional image. The lighting equipment permitted me to reduce shadowing and adequately brighten the figure's face. Without this, they would have appeared dark, which, even with contrasting and lightening tools on Photoshop, would have looked poor. In post-production, iMovie and Photoshop were vital to executing my products to an appropriate standard. iMovie was a positive piece of software that enabled me to craft a product that showed all the best elements of my filming. The trimming tools ensured that the clips were precisely edited to only capture the relevant minutes of St John Ambulance Cadets' lives. By doing this, the target audience wouldn't have been bored by the excess information that dragged on. Photoshop gave me the ability to transform and edit images so they were portraying the right messages. My skills in this area have expanded as well because, for example, I have been using the brush tool to add the effects of shadows. This means the images have uniformity and as if they are standing all in one line. Also, the main image used in my TV listings double page spread was edited using this brush tool in order to clutter the photo's background. At first, my skill set was not expanded enough to understand these tools as I hadn't used them in my AS coursework. However, after learning about Photoshop's tools and software, I was able to use them. At points I did have minor teething problems with certain things like shrinking the photos using the free transform tool. This was because without holding the shift key, it was squishing the images out of proportions. The main strength of this software was that it qualified me to create cohesion between my ancillary products. The end products both looked clean and well choreographed, which was my full intention. I believe my double page spread was technically a higher quality to my advert. This is predominantly because I was learning about the tools whilst creating the advert. Also, I only used the basic functions to craft that piece. On my double page spread, however, I was able to invest more time and skill into looking at the finer details and manipulating the images to suit my purpose. My whole coursework project was put together on an Apple MacBook Pro. This enabled me to collate all of my resources in one area that would be accessible on other computers. Along similar lines, my documents also went onto Google Docs. This permitted me access to them wherever and whenever I needed them. When filming, for example, I needed my interview questions on location but had forgotten them, so I accessed them through Google Docs. This meant my interviews were not hindered by the lack of resources. I was also able to share documents with my teachers to get feedback on my progress. Scribd, Prezi and WordPress were all crucial sites in the planning and post-production stages of my coursework. I utilised all three of them to create and share my planning documents so that they were well crafted. WordPress especially allowed me to retain all of my evidence in one place. The only weakness of WordPress is that you cannot upload Word documents straight onto it. This is where Scribd was really helpful because I used that site to upload all of my work that was on a Word document onto WordPress so that all of my resources were together. Prezi allowed me to vary the mediums I was uploading my evidence in, and as a result I could show them in vibrant presentations. In the evaluation stage, it also enabled me to coherently structure my evidence in a way that was simple and plain to understand.